Hi everyone, this is Denise with Liquid Color and welcome to this week's Color Spotlight. Before we get started, I wanted to remind you that I have a poll up to ask you what colors that you would like to see in the remaining weeks of Color Spotlight. Green has been chosen, obviously, since we're doing it this week, and we have decided on a color for our second blue, but I have selections for red and yellow and our last week's mystery color, so please go ahead and check out the link in the description to let me know what you would like to see. So which green did you guys choose? Phthalo Green. Today we're going to be looking at PG7, which is the blue shade of Phthalo Green. There's also a yellow shade, which is PG36, but we will not be discussing that in detail today. Phthalo is short for thiocyanine, and Phthalo Green is a transparent, non-granulating, highly staining color with excellent light fastness. It's an extremely vibrant color that was developed in the 1930s and is commonly and widely used in inks, plastic, and paints today. In watercolor, it's commonly used in many convenience greens such as permanent green, hooker's green, sap green, and many more. It's important to note that while Phthalo Green is light fast, many convenience greens made with it are not necessarily as light fast due to the other pigments that they'll be mixed with. There's another color that's very similar to Phthalo Green called Viridian, and it's made from PG18. This is a granulating color that doesn't stain as much and was historically used by many masters. However, it can be a rather temperamental pigment and requires an experienced hand to use effectively. For this reason, this earthy pigment is now commonly replaced in many brands by Phthalo Green, and many brands actually refer to PG7 as Viridian, but more accurately, Viridian Hue. Winsor & Newton refers to their version as Winsor Green, and Sennelier's Viridian has both PG7 and PG18 for a bright pigment that also lifts off of the paper. Phthalo Green is not a naturalistic green, and in fact it can be quite visually abrasive on its own. So much so that as a beginner I actually removed it from my palette because I disliked it so much and I didn't have any uses for it. At the time I didn't realize how valuable of a mixing color it was. Today we're going to be showing Phthalo Green with 4 different colors, and 2 of these have been featured on other color spotlights. However, their use is so invaluable that I've included them here as well. First up is quinacridone gold, which we saw in last week's video. However, it's worth noting that the original formulation of the Daniel Smith sap green was made with PG7 and PO49. It's no longer made with this formula due to the scarcity of quinacridone gold, but it is still my favorite convenience green. Phthalo Green's mixing complement is crimson, which I do not have, but I do have another cool red called carmine. Today I'm going to mix them together so that they can form a deep, dark, natural gray color. I only found my absolute favorite mix with Phthalo Green last week when I was putting together a new palette. I must have stumbled across the mix before when I was making charts a couple years ago, but I guess I didn't recognize how beautiful it was within a tiny little square. Mixed with dioxazine violet, it creates a gorgeous, deep, moody blue, and I absolutely love this combination. Last but not least, I have Phthalo Green and ultramarine blue mixed together as we saw in our first color spotlight. This combination makes a wide range of lovely aquas. I also wanted to note that when mixed with Phthalo Blue, you get Phthalo Turquoise, which I actually have as a premixed color on my palette from Daniel Smith. I keep this color on my main palette, and I absolutely love it when it's combined with quinacridone burnt orange. And here I just wanted to show you a couple samples of the greens that you can get with that combination. For this week's painting, I thought about whether or not I should showcase the pure form of Phthalo Green or with it mixed with other colors. In our SurveyMonkey poll, the split between Phthalo Green and sap green was very, very close, and for that reason I decided to mix the Phthalo Green with quinacridone gold to make a sap green background and showcase Phthalo Green mixed with blues and purples on a brightly colored bird called a Mexican violet ear hummingbird. The colors I used in this painting are Phthalo Green, ultramarine blue, dioxazine violet, and quinacridone gold. Thank you so much for watching this week's Color Spotlight, and if you'd like to help out the channel, there's a card in the upper right to take you to my support page. Otherwise, I will see you next time.